Listen up. Be you. You got this. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Keto, rock stars, stay strong. Be you. Bacon, beef, butter. Keto rock stars. Keto rock stars. Keto rock stars. Keto on, stay strong. Be you. Keto rock stars.
Hi, everybody. We are live, and tonight, boy, do I have a treat for you all. A fresh face, someone you haven't seen before. Maybe you haven't talked to him before. And tonight, you are going to hear from John. Is it John? Do you like John or Jonathan Satter?
Well, just John. If I'm called Jonathan, I instantly get scared because I remember my grandma saying Jonathan Carl, and you instantly just know something's up. You're in trouble. I've done something. I gotta find out. So yeah, just John
So,
to
welcome,
avoid some
John.
PTSD.
Welcome to Keto Rock Stars. And I have had the pleasure of meeting John in the PhD coaching class. So that's where we kind of connected. And I also got to meet him in person yesterday at the Indianapolis meetup, Dustin Keto Simples meetup in Avon, Indiana. And it was so awesome to see. Before we get into John's story, which is just so fascinating, I want to say hi to a few people, all of you who are blowing up. We've got 26 watching already, and we're only a minute into the stream. We got Sandy Blythe in the house. Welcome, Sandy. Amy Brisket Boomers is here. My good friend Carrie, who's been with me from the beginning. Thank you, Carrie. Aaron, Booby Goats is in the house. Welcome. Juju, my good friend Julie is here. Welcome, welcome. Let's see who else do we have. Thomas, Target Prime Rib is in the house from Joyzy. Welcome, Thomas. I'm so
Was he?
glad you're here. Brenda Jones is in the house. Welcome, Brenda. Let's see. Coach Angela Mullins, who is also in our class, is here. Welcome,
Welcome.
Angela. Thanks. Brian Dish is in the house. Ivy is here. Welcome, Ivy. Let's see. North Carolina Cajun is here. Welcome, NC Cajun. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, Ivy is sad we're choosing another campground. We're not choosing another campground. Okay, so I would come to a meetup at your campground. I just can't plan a meetup that's so far away, right? I'm going to plan one closer to me, but we can do one at your campground too, Ivy. So we can do both. Why not? Right?
Mhm.
Uh,
I like it.
Brian is here. Hi, Brian. How you doing? Lynn 22Q Cat. She is a real person, guys. I verified it yesterday. Lynn is a real person. She was at the meetup with Rick or Ricky, if you have permission to use that. Speaking of Ricky or Rick, Twin Brook Acres is in the house. It was so good to give you a big hug yesterday, Rick. So fun. We got to do this again. GFG Homestead is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Isabel is here. Welcome, Isabel. Man, you're
Welcome.
drawing a
Wow.
crowd. You're drawing a
I didn't.
crowd. Look at this.
I didn't know I was so popular. Yes. I heard seen a comment that is he a truck driver? Or are you just messing with me? Yes, very much so
He
a
is a
truck
truck
driver.
driver.
I don't. I know I don't look like the traditional truck driver. I don't have a bunch of facial hair and the big old goofy headset. I got one right here, but it just wasn't pairing up right. But yeah, definitely a truck driver. Uh, Convicted as such. Been doing it for 22 years.
Awesome. We got a few more people. Jerry's in the house. This is my sister from another mister up in northern Wisconsin. Evelyn, who you met yesterday, is in the house. Welcome, Evelyn and Carl. Holly Springer's here. Welcome, Holly. Okay, I got a joke for you. Carrie always brings a joke. He says, "What do trucks eat for breakfast? A traffic jam." That's hilarious. Thank you so much, Carrie.
Yeah, we
Schmoovy,
do
my
tend.
neighbor, is here. Yep.
Yep. You
Schmoovy's
know, we
here.
do
I
tend
tried to
to.
get him to come yesterday. Go
Yep.
ahead. Go ahead.
Well, we tend to block up traffic, don't we? You know, we just get in everyone's way, and that's all we're doing out there. I assure you, that's not exactly what we're doing. We're trying to do a job, but we're trying to. I try to get people's way because I know everyone's got to do something, and I get paid by the hour, so I really don't care. I'll just stay slow and just stay out of everyone's
Uh-huh.
way. So it's all works for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So Debbie Crochet is in the house. Welcome, Debbie. I'm so glad you're here. Kathleen is here. Let's see. I'm just trying to. Coach Juliet, who is in our class, is here. Hi, Juliet. Let's see. Oh, Evelyn's asking you, did Heather like the fudge?
Yes, the girls loved it too. So yeah, it was a hit. I think she's going to end up asking you for a recipe. So yeah, stay tuned with that one.
Awesome. Sandy's in the house. Welcome, Sandy. Oh my gosh. They're just rolling in. Barbara, Grandma's Crochet Corner's in the house. Hi, Barbara. Let's see here. Looking for other people. Just want to make sure I didn't miss saying hi to everybody. Connie is in the house. Coach Connie. Hi, Connie. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. All right. So I got through everybody. Here we go. All right. So, John, tell us about your story, your personal, health journey. And feel free to start from the beginning. Tell us about yourself.
Well, yeah, no, very beginning of it, I really didn't know what I was really getting into with truck driving. All I needed to know was like, hey, I needed a job that's going to pay more than just minimum wage to only about $10 an hour. This is, of course, 22 years ago. It's not a whole lot to these days. So I was looking for something that's more stable. For the woman I was getting ready to marry, and she's like, "That was my requirement. I'm going to have to do something." So you open up the newspaper, and there was no internet too much then. You open up a newspaper, and it's truck driver here, 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 needed everywhere. So I'm like, okay, I'll get my CDL, but I had to be 21, so I had to wait till then. As soon as I got 20 or turned 21, I was on the bus going to CDL school down in Tennessee. Hey, it went all good, but I broke out in hives really, really bad, because it's nerve wracking to drive something that big. And I was covered head to toe, and they thought I had some sort of communicable disease or something. So they isolated me, but it was just hives because I was just nervous. But I got over it and yeah, made a career out of it. And yeah, life was good there for about 5 years. I pretty much ate and drank everything in sight. It seemed like it was a good life. I started feeling a little bit, worse off, for the works and everything. So I ended up getting a checkup. And yeah, lo and behold, I had a blood pressure problem. My blood pressure was a little higher than what DOT would like it. So they put me on medicine to control it. And that was back, and I'd say back in 2008, 2009. That's when I started getting more in trouble with my health and I started paying a little more attention to what I'm eating. But of course, the obvious advice that everyone else gets, eat your veggies, eat your whole grains, eat all the processed stuff. And of course, limit sugar, you heard that too. But, when you are eating that stuff, it is very hard to stay away from all the other junk, especially whenever you got a bunch of food noise in your head saying that, you want to eat all this and that just to kind of pass the time and the boredom. Well, and of course, that's a fire kind of feeding itself. So I stumbled around a lot, trying to figure out what works and everything. And then I stumbled upon low calorie, trying to control your calories, just staying between 1,300 and 1,600 calories per day. And I saw success with that. Generally, I lost 110 pounds right before my son was born. So I was a total different person by the time, he was born. And the mother didn't even really recognize me when I walked into the room either. So I didn't I couldn't even recognize myself. I lost the weight really quick. So I can't say that, yeah, it was worth it, but it showed me that I'm definitely capable of doing more than just that. It proved to me that I could commit to something and really do it. And well, before you know it, you know how low calorie diets work. The food noise kind of comes back only because the diet you're eating wasn't nutrient sufficient. So the food noise kind of comes back. And so I fell in love with what Reese's Fast Breaks. I got introduced into them, and before too long, I was eating 3 or 4 of them a day, and I ballooned back up to the old weight in about 4 years. And I've been struggling since to really try to find a proper human diet. And until about a year and a half, 2 year, yeah, it'll be November 2024. I ended up going into the hospital because my blood pressure was yet again really high. We're talking high. We're like 195 over 115 high. And I knew something was up. Like, and called the squad on myself, and I'm like, okay. They had to take me out of the truck and all that stuff, put me in the squad because I was just freaking out. I just didn't know what was wrong with me. And I was ready for answers. Blood pressure was that high. They took me to the hospital, and I was ready to hear the bad news or good news, whatever come may be, and I'm in the situation, I gotta handle it. So turns out they did a CTA angiogram and then also did a chest x-ray. And thank God there was nothing wrong with my pipes. They said everything was clear. And I'm like, okay. And right around that time, I was discovering Dr. Ken Berry and his YouTube videos. And I was understanding how the mechanics of the proper human diet works and everything. And the people that were seeing the success that they were seeing, I'm like, well, I can definitely do that too. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Are you kidding me? You know, I love meat. I've always been generally kind of carnivore. I'm like, I've always said that. And so I started going into it pretty hard and left and right, had some setbacks here and there, either like a vacation cruise or birthday party, and it sets you off for a little while. But then when you really, really, truly commit to it, then I see more results. Like these days, my blood pressure is stone cold normal. It's usually right around 120s over 70s in the morning. Of course, it'd be a little, later in the evening, I'll check it again. It's a little higher, but that's actual normal physiology.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, found proper human diet. And what really set Ken Berry apart from everybody is that he's not trying to sell you anything. That's what I loved about him. I'm like, he's not trying to promote some, you know, concoction of sorts, that's going to promise, the moon and back. He's not promising any of that. The only thing that you strictly need is pretty much good food and a skillet. And I attach to that. It seemed pretty common sense to me. So I'm a common sense dude. And it's changed and transformed my life. And then the academy came into play when I was ready to talk to more people about it, about the benefits of a proper human diet. I was getting ready to go to Primal Health. Like I was getting ready to submit my payment and stuff, in the next few days. And I heard Nisha talk about that they're opening up their own academy. I'm like, I want to go there because I am a fan of Ken Berry. And I'm pretty sure that when I get ready to meet him, I always get a little nerved, when I'm getting ready to go on live with him. I'm like, oh God, what am I going to say and everything, But, because I'm just a fan of his work. And to be went through the academy and learn everything that we learned through it, the how to coach and how to run the business and stuff like that. It was a transforming experience, to be recognized that I was good enough amongst thousands of other applicants, as he, put in the confirmation email, that they sent me the confirmation email that I was in the academy, and I was very blessed. And that is actually August 1st, as my son's birthday, when I got that confirmation. So I feel
Oh,
beyond blessed and called. And, as he said it, I want people to respond to this like they're being called to do it. So, and I really, truly feel called to really get this out there and push the message forward and work with other PhD coaches and help them do this and that and organize things. And, I've got a lot of time to think about things. So that's how I think I'm going to be able to do it. Even though I've never been blessed with any kind of college degree or anything like that. I didn't go for business school or anything like that, but when it comes down to it, I've took this on like I know what I'm doing, only because I put my heart in it. And
because you do know
that's
what
what
you're doing and you're passionate about it, like I
very
am,
passionate,
right?
very, very passionate. Like if you feel called to it, and I'm stepping up to the plate, and I'm ready to bat and hit some, home runs. So it's awesome. So I'm sure you got more questions. Um,
Oh, so we're already getting questions from the audience. Okay, well,
awesome.
this one's an interesting one. It's not really diet related. She wants to know what trick or language. Can you ask him to explain what a pickle park, a lot lizard, and a road gator are?
Well,
I know
Pickle
what a
Park,
lot lizard is.
yeah, I know what a lot lizard is too. And thankfully, I've only had one of those knocks at my door, and it was honestly in Atlanta, Georgia. And I usually stay in places that don't attract that, but a lot lizard is basically a truck stop prostitute. Okay, they're just earning a living, or if they're got some sort of pimp or something like that that they have to pay money to for their drugs. I don't know the mechanics of it. I'm just guessing, and I see a lot of TV or watch a lot of TV, so I'm just guessing. Pickle Park. I want to say, isn't that like a bunch of restaurants together, like a fast food restaurant, Pickle Park? I want to say that that's what it is. And then Road Gator, yeah, that's a blown tire. It can that's on the road.
Oh,
Either from a truck or a tire that can snap up and get you airlines. So yeah,
I
if
didn't
that's
know
another truck
that.
driver, trying to guess, or like is he a truck driver? Yeah, Pickle Park. I've heard that on the CB. I want to say it's definitely restaurants. Am I correct? Well, put
I
that in the
think so.
comments.
I don't know. I
I
don't
think it
know.
is.
Yeah. So Juju, she says, John, my soulmate passed away. I'm so sorry, Juju. I know you guys were, love of a lifetime. He was a truck driver over the road, sometimes Teamster, and he loved stopping at diners. Is that what you do? And she misses him every day. Do you stop at diners? And what do you do? How do you eat on the road? Do you cook? Do you have like I've seen truckers take air fryers and they're, and all
Mhm.
kinds of, or do you stop places? How do you do it? Tell us about that.
Well, for a long time there, I mean, I would stop in diners and, talk to fellow truck drivers and get to know them and their stories and everything of what they've done. And maybe, come with a little bit of advice because it's what I did at first. I came into it just with the bare minimum. I wasn't exactly grandfathered into it. I was the first truck driver in my family. But yeah, I
Hmm.
would go into diners and I'd talk to truck drivers and get their input on some things. But I am very sorry about your loss, though. It
Yeah.
this profession, has a vast majority of guys that are very unhealthy and overweight, and that's where I feel called to help truck drivers out. But how I do it these days is I'll meal prep my entire work week out. I am out 5 days a week typically, and I'm home on the weekends.
Hmm.
So I'll meal prep the entire week. But beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and I'll salt it to taste, and I'll just heat it up in the microwave and eat it. And then when I'm hungry again, I'll eat my second meal and fast the rest of the time. Usually use about 16 to 18 hours a day. So when I'm really dialed in, it's really easy to do that. Did I cover it all? Did I cover all our
I think
information you
so.
wanted to add?
Do you have a microwave? Do you have a microwave
Yes.
in?
Yes. I got a microwave. Or, if
Uh,
that goes to the fritz, I could just take my food and put it on top of the engine block, and it might heat it up after a
like,
while. Yeah.
do you know who Rick is? Do you know who Rick is?
No.
Iguana Rick from Miami. Miami Rick. Whoa, he is very interesting. He eats parking lot chicken. He eats dumpster chicken. He eats iguana, but he also cooks on his engine block of his truck.
Huh.
So I've heard that cooking technique before that, you can heat things up that way. Um, we have
Yeah.
another question. We have another question. Okay, so this one is from Evelyn, who you met yesterday. She wants to know if you're going to Keto Palooza this year. Have you considered that?
Unfortunate. I've considered it, but it was either Keto Palooza or Low Carb for Better Health. And since I'm starting to get new in the space and everything, having a bunch of people around, I wasn't too sure how that would go down. So Low Carb for Better Health was more of a better fit for me and my wife to attend because I'm getting her into the lifestyle also and keto and she wants to manage her diabetes and stuff. So I'm
Mhm.
starting small, and then working our way up. But I'm definitely considering meat stock next year and or keto palooza, some of the more bigger ones
I
after I
think
kind of
meat
get my
stock,
feet wet with
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Was
Speaking
yesterday
of
your
her,
first meetup, like, of any kind?
yeah, it was my very first meetup, since we've been coaches, and involved in the low carb
Mhm.
space. It was definitely my first meet, and I really felt as I said, the lion come out of me, and I was just ready to just ask everyone questions and get to know their story, get to know them, and this is exactly what I signed up for, to be involved with people. And because I love people, I'm an extrovert by nature. I don't know how in the
I can
world I've
tell.
survived. I don't know how I've survived being in a truck, for 22 years and being an extrovert.
Don't they have those little CB things that you guys talk all day long on? And do they still do
they
that kind of stuff?
Not really, and not a bunch of conversations you really want to be, even involved with. There for a while, they'll just say, "I ain't got no panties on," and speak all this ignorant stuff, and it's just unintelligent. I just couldn't do it. I'm like, you guys gonna need to figure out some better conversations there. And I ain't got no panties on, you know. And like they'll say, "Shut up, stupid." That's the conversation, there towards the end. And nowadays they don't talk on them, and the only time they ever do is when something's going on, like if there's a backup or construction. There was like, "Hey, what's going on? You should have had your ears on, moron." I'm trying to censor it, so with all the, and I'm not trying to be
Yeah,
too
I know.
cursy. I'm not trying to be too
I'm
cursy.
married. I'm married to a truck driver, so
Oh, the
yes, I
pickle
know.
cart is the
I
male
am.
version of a lot lizard. I did not know that
Yeah.
one. I did not know that
Whoa.
one.
That's a good thing you probably didn't know that one. Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Now, hold on. Ivy's saying no, the
All the
pickle
rest
park or the
areas.
rest areas.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
for
That
that
makes more sense.
reason, probably. For
Yeah, probably for that reason. Yeah, pickles. Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh. Yeah. So okay. So how was your childhood? Were you a skinny kid? Did you struggle with weight growing up? Tell us a little bit about that. What was like your home life like with meals and tell us a little bit of background about you. Or was it just, since 2008 that you started really struggling?
No, I was about 12 years old whenever I started packing on more weight. I was a thin kid, active, being outside, and pretty much towhead, the blonde hair, blue eyes, tan skin. I was always outside doing something, getting muddy, and then going back in, taking a bath, and going out and getting muddy again. You know, as it said, some of the happiest and healthiest children play in the mud. So there's something to that. But anywho, yeah, my childhood was decently pretty good. My parents did the best they could with what they had. My dad lived all, he had Social Security, but he also worked part time as a dishwasher. And then my mom was a certified, well, she was a nurse's aide, and she worked third shift. So
Mhm.
basically, we had my grandma live with us to be able to afford ends meet and, pay rent or utilities, whatnot. And yeah, it was tough in a way, but I saw kids, dressed in all cool clothes, the Jinko pants and all that fun stuff. I always wanted them, but I never got it. But it still served a purpose in my life, and I didn't understood it until I was older. That growing up like that made me very humble and grateful for what I do have, and I cherished everything that I did have. And my mom always said that she wanted more for me in that sense, buy me more stuff. And I'm like, "Mom, don't worry about it. You raised me in the best way you could." And honestly, it ended up being um better, because it gave me this mindset. I'm just grateful and humble for everything that I have and everything that happens to me in my life. So, did that satisfy the question? But maybe, yeah, with childhood obesity, I really didn't know. I was
Yes,
just, everyone
yes,
was
yes.
everyone was getting bigger. There's some kids getting bigger, but I stayed a little bit more ahead of the curve than than most of them, because I was pretty much, you built your plate and you put all your food on it and you ate it. That was the rule around the house. Whatever you put on your plate, you had to eat. There was no way. There was
Play.
no wasting.
Yep.
Yeah, you live in northern Indiana. I lived in southern Michigan.
Uh,
So when at that time, so yeah,
What part of Michigan?
um,
What part of Michigan?
white pigeon. To be out of honest, yeah,
Yeah, that's like I've been to White Pigeon. I worked with people. That's like just down the
yeah,
road, really. So
quite
yeah, I'm
literally.
familiar with White Pigeon.
Yeah, I grew up there, and then I moved to Ohio. That's another part of the story. And after my parents divorced, moved to Ohio to live with my stepfather and my mom. I actually hooked my mom up and my stepdad together online on ICQ. Remember that software?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Okay, now all right. Now I have to ask how old you are. How old are
I'm
you?
I'm
Because
43.
Yes, I remember ICQ.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
43.
you're way younger than me, but I remember I'm 50, but we apparently, are close enough in age that we remember a lot of. Yes, I remember ICQ that came out when I was in
Hmm.
college, or was popular. Yes. So you hooked your mom up with your stepdad on
Yeah, if I
ICQ?
start talking to him first and he seemed like a pretty decent dude, and my mom, she wasn't really looking for anybody, she just got divorced from my father and he moved back out to Wyoming where I was born at. Um, he moved way back out there and I hooked her up, with him, and I'm like, he's a good dude. And before you know it, he came up and visited us, and before you know it, she was moving down there with him. My dad had to move back to Wyoming to take care of us so she can learn how to live with him and then get us down there when she felt was safe enough. So yeah, it was fairly responsible
Mhm.
decision by her part. And yeah, having a stepfather was different, because I wasn't used to a father, telling me to do things or how to do things. Because my dad, he was there, but more or less, not so much there, but in the sense that he was just physically there. He wasn't really teaching me much of anything.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, I kind of felt like a nuisance to him. But after I became an adult, we actually had a good relationship. So, but sad story is that both of my parents are not here anymore, and
Oh.
most of my family is not either. Everyone that I grew up with is pretty much gone. This is my grandpa's place, and of course he's gone. He was 83, but my parents died young. They were 61 and 64, and my aunt died when she was 55. Yeah, my
Wow.
aunt died when she was 55, and it was all mostly attributed to metabolic illness. My mom was diabetic. She was very overweight a lot of her life. My dad, he he wasn't necessarily overweight, but he had his issues. He had epilepsy, so that was a part of the childhood that was actually fairly hard to deal with because there's sometimes he would have anywhere between 10 and 15 grand mal seizures a day, and I'm not even exaggerating. It was hard to
Wow.
have a childhood like that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, hard to have any sleepovers with friends that I did have because my dad would freak him out with all the you know seizures. It was scary because he would lose control of his bladder and everything, and had scream and fall down to the ground and kick. It's freaky, and it was hard to have friends like that. At least stay over. But
Mhm.
yeah, it was kind of hard, I guess. But it still served a purpose. I believe everything in life, serves
Mhm.
a purpose and a catalyst to the next thing that happens to you, and uh, prepares you for the next stage in your life. And God has a lot to do with that.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
I love that.
I
Yes.
think I covered more of the bases there. So yeah, we can move on to the next question if you want to. So, um,
All right. Before we do, I want to say hi to a few people.
all right,
We have Kelly, Missouri Carnivore, who you met yesterday.
nice.
Aaron, who you met yesterday. Kelly, Crochet Kelly is in the house. Paul and Robin Garcia are watching from Facebook. Hi, Paul and Robin. I met them at Keto Palooza. Michelle Mays, who was one of my childhood best friends from grade school. Hi, Michelle. Mark is in the house on Facebook. Hi, Mark. Thanks for tuning in. Bill Cook is in the house. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad each and every single one of you are here and tuning in. Tonight, we are talking with John Satter, carnivore truck driver and a PhD certified health coach. So, we got more questions. Hold on. Hold
All
on.
righty.
Let's see what we got here. Juju wanted me to read this. John, my Michael loved driving double dually, and it was because his dad did it for a living. How did you know you wanted to be a driver?
Because it's kind of funny. How I knew I wanted it because I was tired of working where I could not control the climate, and I wanted to sit on my butt for a living. So putting those two together, was really nice. I could control the air conditioning. I can be cold. I could make my truck a morgue pretty much. I got to have my air conditioning. I can't survive without it. So I'm like, that's the job for me. It's comfort. So that's how it came to be. And of course, you saw it in the newspapers. They needed it everywhere, and I needed a job. So I basically did it to fit in somewhere. That was my whole plan for my life. I just wanted to get out and fit in somewhere. So
Uh-huh.
Did I watch Smokey and the Bandit? Unfortunately, I
Yeah,
haven't.
she also asked, did you
Unfortunately, I haven't.
she I love
I
Juju.
am I am pop culture illiterate when it comes right down to it. I know some movies and I follow some, and I watch, repeats of, other ones. But for the most part, uh, I'm kind of pop culture illiterate, and my wife loves it because she gets to show me all new movies all the time, even though they're 20 years old or more.
I'm glad Evelyn brought this up because I was thinking about David Snyder. He's a carnivore, and he is his name is Carnivore Werewolf, and he filmed a trucker documentary about some of the things you've already mentioned. Have you heard of him?
I think I've heard him in the airwaves, definitely. I've heard of the name, but I
Mhm.
don't know much of what he does, but I definitely want to check him out. I'll have to keep that in mind to check out what he's done and see if maybe I can do a collaboration with him. Absolutely.
That's what I'm
Mhm.
thinking is maybe the carnivore truckers unite and get together because I know a lot about it because I'm married to a recently retired truck driver, right? But and he was just a day driver,
Mhm.
right? He never did long haul overnight and you're gone all week.
Yeah.
That's a totally different thing,
Yeah. It
right?
is.
My husband could still come home every day
Yeah.
and eat at home.
Yep, it's totally different, and I forgot to mention that in my story. Yes, I was an over the road truck driver for about 7 years of my career. Just me and myself in the truck and just driving my life away, and then coming home, seeing my son, and going back, and just yeah, I did it for a long time. And he went on the road with me for about a year during COVID, so that was really nice. And I've been generally a single dad for the most part of my time with him too. So, but now I've just
Wow.
been recently got married, and now I actually have a good mom for him. So it's all good.
That's awesome.
Part of God's plan.
And I
Absolutely.
got to meet him yesterday. Good kid.
Hmm.
Good kid.
Yep.
Oh, I got to answer a question on Facebook. John Meyer says, "Hi, Amy. Hello, John. It wouldn't let me say hello on YouTube, but I'm proud of the work you're doing." He says, "Now, John, you have to subscribe and in 20 I have a little rule because I've had some weird trolls come on here. So I have a rule on YouTube that you must be a subscriber of mine for 20 minutes to come in and chat. So go ahead and hit that sub button and just give it a little time. It's just that we've had some weird stuff going and they seem to come to the carnivore and keto channels and really try to wreak havoc. So I had to kind of lock it down a little bit to say you must be a subscriber for a certain amount of time before you can chat. But thank you for posting that in Facebook. I got it, John, and I wanted to pass your message on to this John. Um, oh, here's a question for you. We were going to talk about this, but Brian is asking. Now, Brian, let me tell you about Brian. Brian, he is going through the Kilts health coaching
Hmm.
class. Okay. So he just completed it. He asked, "Do you plan on coaching in the future? Are you coaching now? Are you,
Yes.
what are your plans for this PhD certification?"
My plans for it is, mostly to be an advocate, but then also do coaching and help people and one-on-one, because that's definitely where I shine, is helping people one-on-one and get to know people and adjusting their plans on how their biofeedback comes back. They need some more salt and this and that, just to hold their hand and guide them through the whole process. I'm really attracted to that. So yes, I got the coaching certification, so yes, I do plan on coaching. I am coaching three people right now. It's pro bono, so I can kind of get my feet wet with it, and before I honestly charge people, because I'm not
Yeah.
not quite ready to really do the full charge yet. But I got everything set up, all the check-in forms and all that stuff, website. I mean, the whole 9 yards already all set up. I just hit the road running right after
Yeah.
we got the certification earlier this year and got it nailed out. So yeah, I do plan on coaching. It's just that as it goes out, it's hard to find people interested in it, because well, what is a health coach? A lot of people are asking that. I'm like, well, they kind of work in a way like a nutritionist does, but we work on a different principle of dietary strategies. That's what I've been telling people, and so far,
Yes.
it's casting a line and trying to fish, but when it comes right down to it, yeah, sure, coaching would be fun, but it's even more fun when you're really truly helping someone, and that's what it's really all about. It's about the love for the people that I have, and getting that message out, and then say, hey, you do this, and your life is going to start changing and cascading in the way that you have always wanted it to, and just to be able to share that message and give them hope, and then they try it, and they succeed. It's pretty much a roadmap, and a lot of people see success to it, and I could definitely get behind this sort of movement, because I want to see healing in people. People can actually get their metabolic health in a much more better state than they've had since they were kids, probably. When they were not diabetic or sore or had gout or IBS flare ups. I mean, just you name it. It's pretty much proper human diet really adjusts everything for you and sets everything to what I like to call the factory settings, as I put it. To
Mhm.
healthy. So that's exactly what it does. And
Yeah.
going to be a pioneering voice in that.
And let's talk about this for a second. So, oh my gosh, how do I even explain this? Mainstream media is programming everybody that meat is bad for you. The things that we have found in this community, um, because we took a leap of faith. We took a leap of faith and we heard other people's stories
Mm.
and we're like, "Oh my gosh, so and so tried this and that happened to them and so and so tried." And this is really how we as a carnivore and ketogenic, cuz I include my ketogenic friends, right? Cuz I did very well on that in this low carb community have been spreading the word because you're not going to see it on mainstream media.
No.
They're going to tell you that red meat is bad for you. It causes cancer. It causes heart disease. And those of us who were like, really, that doesn't sound right. The processed foods, the seed oils, that is the stuff that sounds like it's might be the problem. And so many of us took a leap of faith against what our doctors and what mainstream media is telling us what to do. And we're like, okay, so I'm going to try this for 30, 60, or 90 days, right? And then let's just see what happens. It surely can't kill me for 90, 30, 60 years. And then the things that we are experiencing just are incredible. It's mind blowing. What have been some of the stories that you have seen, whether it's yourself or someone else that has just said, I can't believe that this reversed that, or I can't believe that, you know, because I know you the type of person you are, you didn't just start this, you've researched it. You've researched it extensively.
Oh,
You're probably on the road listening to YouTube videos, Dr. Barry interviewing somebody.
mm-hmm.
So what are some of the things that have blown your mind the most that this way of eating has helped?
The one of some of
Can
the
you think
things
of
the
anything?
one thing that comes to mind that I really do like to hear about is people that have had previous injuries, or they're that through childhood they've had broken bones or this and that, or football injuries. They've always had to carry that kind of pain all their entire life, and then they go low carb enough or even carnivore, and they find out that that pain starts going away. Things that they've been the pain that's been plagued them for years and years and years, and it's just gone. And it's beautiful. It's because it's just the most anti or uninflammatory diet that you can pretty much eat, and it just it just helps. Some things also I've heard, some people having really bad uh, Crohn's disease. That's really debilitating in its own, and it's going. With people that adopt to and stick to a proper human diet or even carnivore, they're reversing that terrible condition. It's just all the stories that you just unbelievable. I'm like, wow. And that's exactly why Ken Berry calls it the proper human diet, because it just resets us to that factory state of being healthy. It's just absolutely amazing. You've even heard stories of people in the community of having glioblastoma, a very incurable brain cancer going away on it too. So that
Mhm.
that blows my mind too. I'm
Pablo
like,
Kelly.
yeah.
Pablo Kelly. Pablo Kelly lived for 9 years with glioblastoma after he was told without treatment he would live 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And what ended up killing him wasn't the cancer. It was one of the surgeries, I think, to resect the can't, to resect it because it never fully goes away.
Oh, okay.
But he got married and had kids and lived 9 years longer than he was supposed to, right?
Yeah, and normally,
There's another guy,
normally that's a death sentence, isn't it?
yeah, Dennis, I can't think of his name. Denny, oh my gosh. Who's the doc? Thomas Seyfried interview with Denny, I can't think of his name. Oh my gosh. There's another person that interviewed with Dr. Thomas Seyfried, right? And this guy lives in Canada and he had a rare aortic tumor. And they went in there and they're like, look, this is going to kill you. But whether it's going to kill you in 3 days or a year
Mm-hmm.
is a choice. And so it had already spread to other parts of his body. So it was stage 4. And he basically, they're like, these doctors, like, we can put a pig aorta, pig or piga, like,
Yeah.
whatever. They were going to do some sort of, and they're like, it's not really approved, but really, this is the only thing that's going to save your life. You're going to die in a few days if you don't do this. Now, if someone came to you and said that, you'd be like, just give me the thing, right? So he did, and it saved his life. And then he started working with Dr. Thomas Seyfried on the press pulse protocol. And he basically got his blood glucose down to in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And he fought the cancer. And he also used, I can't say the name of the drug because I don't want to get my channel shut down. But he used a glutamine blocking drug.
Mm-hmm.
It's not legal in the United States, but apparently you could get it in Canada. And I guess cancer feeds on 2 things, glucose and glutamine. And if you those things, guess what? The cancer cannot multiply, right? And again, this is not medical advice. I'm just
No.
telling a real life story that someone has reported that and he is now cancer free. I don't even know if he went through traditional cancer treatment. Deb Johnson, who is in our class, she
Mm-hmm.
got diagnosed with cancer during our class, and she is I'm having her on in a few weeks to tell her story and to talk about she's doing some more holistic stuff, right? So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there are stories out there. I encourage everybody, if you have whatever condition, just go into YouTube and type in your condition and type in Ken Berry or type in your condition, ketogenic diet, carnivore diet. Look for videos by Ken Berry. Look for videos by, Dr. Ovadia, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Kiltz.
Mm-hmm.
Go to, who's the guy in Japan? Who does all the
Jason Fung?
interviews?
Isn't that Jason Fung or no?
No, he's the fasting doctor. Somebody
Okay.
post his name in the comments, please. He has done 2,000 interviews. And all of these interviews, and if you haven't gone on his channel, you need to go get interviewed by him. And why I can't think of anybody's name right now, it's probably because I'm tired from yesterday. Somebody posted Dave Mack. So if I encourage anybody he's done 2,000 interviews. Go to Dave Mack's channel. I think it's No Carb Life. And if I want to know about a condition that my friend has, right? But they're like, this doesn't work. This isn't working. This isn't a good thing to do. My doctor says it's not good. I go to Dave Mack's channel and I research because everyone he has interviewed has had every condition on the planet. He's interviewed somebody with multiple sclerosis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they basically have reversed their lesions on their brain.
Right.
It's
And
just
Dr. Berry,
mind blowing. I mean,
yeah. Dr. Berry talk about Sean Baker
it's
having
mind-blowing.
clients. Yeah. Sean Baker has clients that have proven, lesions on their brain, when they started it, and the lesions have either disappeared or they're a lot better on their brain. They actually have brain scans and proven that this actually works. Another thing I want to shed light to it, all the impact that it can have on mental health too, because
Yes.
everyone thinks that's like a whole separate thing. That mental health is like totally different and separate, and they got different doctors and different meds, and you know when it comes right down to it, people that are adopting a low carbohydrate diet, keto, carnivore, anywhere in our PhD spectrum, they're seeing more better improvements with their mental health, whether it be anxiety, um, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia,
Mhm.
to name a few that they're in, reporting back, big time improvements. I have an ex that did Atkins, back in, oh gosh, I was just only 18, 19. I was a puppy, and she did
I
Atkins,
did
and she
too.
had she had schizophrenia really bad. She'd be talking to her voices in the middle of the night, kind of freaking me out. But after she went on Atkins, she lost a ton of weight, and she reported back to me saying she had no medicine that she don't take anymore for it. And she looked like a totally different person. The only thing I recognized was her voice. That was it. She looked totally different. And that was some time ago too. But yeah, it's absolutely possible to, help these conditions and even reverse them in most cases too, that people are reporting back, all this good feedback. And you get to really think about, the possibilities with this, or what can it help this? Well, just try, see if it does help you. All you just literally just try it. What else do you got to lose? Maybe a condition that
Well,
you want to get rid of and not want to live with anymore.
and that's the thing, like, so I did Atkins 30 years ago, and I lost a bunch of weight, but I never read the book or anything. Basically, I was eating keto. I was just doing, like, I'm like, "Oh, basically," I summarized Atkins, and I said, "Oh, just remove the bread, pasta, corn, starch, blah, blah, blah," and I lost 30 pounds. And so then when I, fast forward to 10 years ago when I started this, I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do what I did 20 years ago," because it worked. Um, it For me, it was almost the same thing until I went carnivore, and I had other reasons for doing that. But I
Hmm.
always say hi to a few more people. Dustin's in the house. Keto Simple. Linda's here. Kevin at Tuber Chat. Thank you for sharing on Reddit. I appreciate that.
Me too.
Yeah. So, um, okay, wait, we got another opinion here. We got a pickle park is slang for a highway rest stop or public park known as a spot for anonymous sexual encounters. In trucker jargon, it also refer generally to any roadside. Jerry, how do you know so much about truckers? Asking for a friend. I'm just saying. Oh my gosh.
I know a lot of
That's
sexual
hilarious.
innuendo as part of it, because the whole thing is, around men, and that's the one track mind. That's what they think of. Of course, they're going to apply whatever slang word they're going to put towards it. So,
Yeah, so I'm going to read Juju's. Okay, so why am I getting Tuber? Tuber Chat is a YouTube channel for small creators that showcases different channels and allows social media creators to connect with each other and help. And it's just a good place to learn information about how to do YouTube and other social media tools. So I found that through Just Jason Keto. Just Jason Keto introduced me to that channel. And then I started spreading it around to other people because it really did help me with some YouTube things. So if you guys are social media creators and you want to get some help and advice and meet with other creators, not all keto or carnivore, just creators in general, there's good tips there. Okay. Oh my gosh, I got 4 things pinned here. Wow. Uh, GFG asked, "Do you find that drivers are receptive to the carnivore message? What is the usual objection that you hear?"
well, honestly, truck drivers are very common sense people. And, you explain it in a way that, does make sense. You can get them to come on board, and, they just receive it and understanding, just very common sense people. But yeah, a lot of them are receptive to the carnivore message. I'm friends with a couple carnivore truck drivers over on TikTok. Fat Trucker Getting Healthy. He's lost, I think, over 100 pounds also, and he just cooks his food out there on the road. And he works for Prime and has students, left and right. He teaches them about carnivore and, how it's helped him change his life. So he's doing his part too out there. So yeah. And the usual objection, very little, especially when it comes down to people that are very, you know, like what makes kind of sense kind of people. The
Mhm.
the general objection is the saturated fat. Is it going to kill me or is it going to raise my cholesterol? That's always the consensus with everybody, just thinking that it's going to do that to them. And honestly, my cholesterol's actually went down, since I've been adopted the carnivore diet. It's went down a little bit, but honestly, of course, us in the know, we wanted to go a little higher. It's right now 165. So I'm happy with it. As long as my other markers are improving, that's where the idea is behind it.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Mhm.
that's your normal objection with it. It's just, oh, is that saturated fat going to kill me? No, no, it'll
And
actually help
and
you
I don't think
live,
that's
brother.
just right. And I don't think that's just truckers. That's the general population. That's what people are
Yeah.
worried about because oh my gosh, I can't even talk about this because I'm a little triggered right now because I don't even have a doctor anymore because every doctor wants to give me a statin and not medical advice, but I'm not going to take a statin personally because I just had my CAC scan done and I have like 0 plaque in most of my arteries and 33 in one artery and it's not warranted in my condition. And then when I refuse a statin, they wanna jab me with Repatha before I even get my tush out of the door, and I'm like, "No, you're not sticking a needle in me for anything." So, it's just like, I'm just over it for a while, so it's anyway.
I'm very I'm very fortunate to have a doctor who is in the know of keto because he's done it himself. So I'm very fortunate there. And I told him right there from the beginning when I started seeing him over here in Wabash that, hey, I don't want to take a statin, dude. No matter what you say, I'm not going to take them because that's just my personal choice. And he respected it. He's never really mentioned it, but um, he's helping me get healthier. He helps me. He runs my labs every 6 months, so here in about 2 more months, I'll see where my A1C is, and currently that's at 5.7. So and
Wow.
I'm almost not diabetic anymore. It used to be closer to 8 is what it used to be. I would guess that only just because when I finally got it checked, it was like 7.2, so that's the official. But I was already pretty low carb for about 2 months before then, so I kind of guesstimated I'm like, oh, it's probably 8 or even higher. Who knows? I really
I
don't
bet.
know. But all I know is that I'm going in the right direction with it, full steam ahead. And my triglycerides were at one time were really scary high. They were 600 and some at one time. That was like
Whoa.
about 6, 7 years
That
ago.
is high.
Y- Yeah, it was scary high. And I'm like, yeah, my official blood type is Crisco. That's what I pretty much said. Yeah, my blood type is Crisco. So
So, being diagnosed as type 2 diabetic, did you have any medications that you were placed on for that, or was it just a monitoring
no,
thing? Were they just
it was
monitor
just a monitoring thing. They just gave me a CGM, to monitor it. And at the time that I got diagnosed, I was adopting low carbon carnivore. And that's the doctor that I had who actually
Mhm.
diagnosed me being, diabetic, because my A1C was that high. And I just said, well, I can control my sugars fairly well. So why don't you just give me a CGM and I can see, what runs and what doesn't, what makes it higher, what keeps it more stable. And he, yeah, proved me for it. And I
Mhm.
got my CGM there for a while and tracked everything. And after a while, I didn't need them anymore because my sugars have been running between 70 and 90 all the time. So there's just no reason to really have it. I'm just going to keep eating this way. And my doctor is all in for it. He's like, he knows I'm getting healthier and he just sees me every 6 months.
Yeah, that's awesome. Eventually
Hmm.
I'll find the doctor that says what they have to say, and I'm fine with them doing that because they are required to per whoever's in charge of them. But
Hmm.
I just want them to respect my decision and move on, right? And treat me for the things that I go in with complaints on, not for the things I don't have complaints on, is what I think.
Absolutely.
We got another question from Kelly at Horizon Crochet. She says, "Do you use an air fryer in the truck, and do you have internet in your truck for reaching out to people when on the road? What kind of technology do you have in there? And do you have a fridge?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got a fridge. It comes equipped in pretty much any semi truck that's got a sleeper. It'll have a fridge in there for you to put stuff in. Some are smaller than others, but mine is thankfully fairly large, and I could put all my meal prep inside of it and fits in it just perfectly. So, no, I don't use an air fryer. I just cook all my food like I just did today. I cook all my food for 5 days: beef, butter, bacon, and
Mhm.
eggs. I put them in little glass bowls to where I can reheat them in the microwave one time in the morning, one in the afternoon, and fast the rest of the time. And internet, well, I just got my tablet. I also got my phone. I reach out and talk to people, just by talking on the phone. I have a headset that I use on the road so I can talk and be hands free because that's definitely a law.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Truck drivers will get a $4,000 fine, I think it is, for even having a electronic device in your hand. And then the company will get a $10,000 fine. And they always tell us, I'm only going to pay that once. That means you're going to be canned as soon as you get that violation. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Oh, I have a question because my husband had to deal with this and he hated it for the last year. Do you have cameras installed in your cabin that watch you? So
Yes,
if
we do.
like
Yeah.
my husband, if he would even look side to side, his camera would go off and like report him. It's stupid. Like
It's
it's
very stupid.
dumb.
It's very controversial, and it's a hot topic in the trucking community because most of the companies that do it, they'll have the driver facing one too, and it's an invasion of privacy because
It is.
you live on that truck. Now, fortunately, my company, we just have the out facing camera that just looks at traffic and stuff, and it,
No.
it helps them enough to um and monitor our behaviors when it comes down to it. It has software that catches us if we're speeding or following too close and dings us, and we get less of a safety bonus if we get one at all. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tool. And I mean, I can see the pros and cons to it, but when it comes right down to it, I got kind of a funny story. My cousin, he ain't here no more. He used to work for a trucking company that had the driver facing cameras. And
Yeah.
one time he always gets stuff in his head. It has an automatic record button. You can hit it, and he hit that and showed the company his butt, and and he got fired the next day.
Oh,
So
I'm sure. Yeah,
yeah,
my
he did.
husband had the front facing ones and like okay, come on. Like you should when you're driving all day, you can't have anything to drink like water, coffee, and like
Yeah,
if they reached down and had something to drink, it would go it was stupid. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I would not be a truck driver if that was gonna
Well,
well, I'm not gonna be anyway because I hate driving, but
some
that
companies, yeah, some companies are a little bit more lenient with that. They just have the driver face and just for more or less insurance purposes. Maybe make their insurance a bit cheaper because trucking insurance is very expensive. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars every quarter that they have to spend to keep their trucks running just for insurance. So it makes it a little cheaper if they have the driver facing. And I can see that, but where they get wrong is they start micromanaging us. Like you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. Hey, I love
right.
bacon too. I just see a comment with that. I love oh yes, yes. I got my bacon shirt that I have on my merch site. You can put that link down or put it in the comments. I can send it to you. But yeah, I love it. I love bacon too. I
So I
I
gotta tell you about that. That is if when people post exclamation point love bacon, it drops their channel in the chat on my channel.
oh
So I allow
love it.
people to so that's love bacon is my like word that triggers people's channels to drop. So that's awesome.
Do you mind if I
Oh my gosh,
share
I
one
got
of my sayings? Do you mind if I share one of my sayings to your audience of what my shirt says? I
go
come up with funny
ahead.
sayings. Yeah, I come up with funny sayings. I'm not, by no means I'll ever step on no one's toes. I try to be as respectful as I can. But anywho, my shirt says, "Bacon is better than that ex that said that they would die for you. Bacon actually did die for you. Bacon's love is real." That's what my shirt says. Yeah,
And is this one of the shirts that you sell on your site?
yes, it is.
Okay, let's take a break and let's show this. Can you get there from your webpage? Because I'm going to share your webpage.
Yes. You go on my web
Okay.
page and it's right there in the middle. It says like official merch page, and then you'll scroll down towards the middle part of the page. Yeah, I see that you're there. This is kind of cool. Yeah, scroll to the middle part of my page after my story, and then the
Official
discover.
merchandise.
Yeah, you just click that.
And he has his own merch already.
Yeah, Bacon's Love #2. You know, that's it right there, and it has the saying on the back. You know, the one on the left, right
I think
there.
I went into
Yeah, that's
this
it right
one.
there. Just yes.
Truck
Oh,
stop checklist. Footlongs
that's another
of
funny
big
one.
baggage. Emotional support donuts. Oh wait, I'm overhauling my health. Never mind. I'll just put this stuff back. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Let's. I like that you have leggings. I may invest in a. I'm a leggings girl because I work from home and I just wear leggings. Let me go back into
nice.
the merch store.
It says Bacon's Love number
Bacon's love.
two. Yeah, there it is. It's on the right side, which would be on the back of the shirt.
Bacon is better than that ex that said they would die for you. Bacon actually did die for you. Bacon's love is real. This is awesome. Okay, so the other thing I want to point out about John's channel or John's website is he has all of his socials here. And what I
Yeah.
really want for everybody to do is go and go to his Facebook page, especially go to his YouTube because he doesn't have 50 subs yet. He needs 50 subs to be able to live stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's 52 people watching right now. So I'm going to ask you all to go. His webpage is overhauling-health overhauling-health.com. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to also drop his YouTube page in the chat. Okay, so I want you all to please, even if you have to leave and come back. Oh my gosh, I have like 50 things open. Let me find this chat. I'm going to post his YouTube channel so
Yeah, a
that
little
he
warm in my
continues.
garage.
Are you hot?
Yeah, it's a
He's
little
in
warm
his
in my
garage.
garage. You know. Yeah. The garage I work on my cars and stuff, and my son also has a YouTube channel, which is on my merch site too. He has his own merch, but it's Satter's Garage. Give him a little shout out. But anywho, um, it was just my quiet place because I've got a house full of teenage girls in there right now, and yeah, they're being teenage girls. So we'll just leave it at that. They're having fun and being a little loud. So it's all good.
That's funny. Okay, so I want everybody to go subscribe. I've also pinned his website to the chat at the top. So there's no excuse, right? Everybody go check out his website and from his website. Uh he has socials, and also if you know anybody who might benefit from a health coach and might be inspired by John, if
Mhm.
I'm being a trucker's wife, if John and my husband and carnivore, well, if truckers can eat this lifestyle, anybody can eat this
Right.
lifestyle, right?
Yep.
In
You
my
gotta,
opinion, there's
yeah. You got to make the way for it, and I just figured out a way till I make it available in my life, and I figured out that I can just meal prep and just take it on the road with me instead of eating the crap that's out there. And if I do run out of food out there, what I'll do is I'll just go to Hardee's, McDonald's, Wendy's, and I'll just get the burger patties, and that is literally it. So I beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Sometimes I'll leave on like the onions or the pickles and cheese every once in a blue moon, but I'm not a big dairy fan anyway, so it doesn't break my heart to not have cheese. But yeah, that's what I do most of the time. If I want a little flavor, I'll just do a little tiny bit of keto with it too. As Dr. Barry says, you can cheat on carnivore with keto.
with
And I do
keto.
that.
Yep.
Yep. And I do that every once in a while just to have some sort of different flavor, and then also to have some gnarly breath when I come home, the onions and everything, and kiss my wife. So she always loves that.
That's hilarious. So I love this comment by Linda. Helping truckers keep their med card is number one. I mean, it's a
Yep.
big thing when you need to get your DOT physical, and if you don't pass it, it's game over. I know
It
that from my
is.
husband. It's game over. And blood pressure blood sugar, those are the things that are going to get have you fail that DOT physical.
Yep. I want to say
Um,
that you can fail it if you are on insulin. You can fail it. They would want you to retest after a certain time. I never got my diabetes under that much under not control, to put it that way.
yeah.
Never needed insulin, never needed medicine. I let meat heal me when it comes right down to it. So, um, my blood pressure, of course, was high, and I got it down to a reasonable level before I needed to get recertified for my DOT physical. And I barely passed by the skin of my teeth, and he gave me a year card. And then the last time I needed it, I got a 2-year card because, you know, blood pressure is just great and everything's just checking
Mm.
out really good and no protein in the urine, this and that, all the things they check the circumference around your neck and it's going down. So he just gave me a 2-year card. He's obviously in 2 years, you're doing great. So
Wow.
yeah,
I didn't know they checked the neck.
yes, it's a
What are
sleep apnea thing. It's kind of controversial in the way they do that because they measure the neck circumference, to determine if you need a sleep test or not. And I've already had one long time ago, and I just snore. I'm like, could ask my wife, okay? You didn't have to put all this, machinery on me to just tell me that I'm just snoring. So it was dumb. It was a $3,000 test that I had to pay for out of pocket at that time because I didn't have health insurance. Yeah, that's when they were really pushing it. But there are thinner people that have sleep apnea.
me? Do I
Yes,
have a fat neck? I still
no,
have sleep apnea, and I've lost
it's
100
kind of
pounds. That's one of the things that's better, but not gone, right?
it's
It is
discriminatory.
dumb. It
Yeah,
is.
but
It's
they don't really.
dumb.
They'll still measure it just to put it down on the form because it still asks it. But my guy that does my physicals now, he doesn't care about it when it comes down to it because he knew it was crap. Because he knows people that have sleep apnea, they're thinner and everything. It's a useless thing that they went by, and they kind of started discriminating. So yeah, yeah, this is
Yeah,
what they
that's
do.
that's dumb.
Yeah.
I want to answer this for Ivy. I only have 20 extra every month that I can allocate towards membership for people, and everything I'm thinking of doing Dr. Barry's, I think he said it was only $5. It used to only be $5.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it's gone up. Is it 30 now? What's the
like
basic
30, but
membership?
basic I want to say is like 20. But I used to pay for the 30 a month, but then I went up to the yearly, and it's throughout 340, 360. And yeah, it's a little cheaper by just going through it with
Yeah,
annual. So, but yeah, I get it. It
yeah,
is kind of pricey, but I'm not gonna. I mean, we can promote him, I guess. I'm sure he doesn't care. But
yes.
that Dr. Barry AI is of it's just a great tool. If you got a question at 3 a.m., you can ask it, you can. And I've abused Dr. Barry AI, absolutely. I've been wondering when it's gonna fire me.
Well, I don't, were you on the last PhD coaching call when I said I was
Mm,
using it for my coaching clients? And I think Nisha wigged out a little bit because if I'm struggling with something, I want to know how Dr. Barry would answer a question, right? And so I
mhm,
run legit, not my problems, but things people are coming to me with. Because what's just as good as talking to Dr. Barry is the AI that they train to talk like Dr. Barry. So
mhm.
I ask it real life scenario questions, and I think Nisha freaked out about. She's like, I don't think we designed it for that. And I'm like, well, that's how I'm using it. So
Mhm.
not everything, most of the stuff I know, right? But
Right.
there's some people that just struggle so hard with different family situations. Families aren't always supportive. Families are not always go in the same place. Lifestyle issues, availability issues. Maybe the finances are harder. Like when he talks about eating, eggs and hot dogs over ribeyes and lamb chops or whatever. So I mean, I don't ask I do ask him a lot of medical questions, just more so I know what somebody's dealing with, but then the AI starts to freak out and says, "Why are you asking this? Don't be a doctor," kind of thing. But I'm like, no, I just want to understand what this condition is, right? So
Right.
it's pretty cool. It's really slick. And I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
I invested in it. And for
Oh
me as
yeah,
a
same
health
here.
coach, I pay for it out of my business. So it's a write
Mm-hmm.
off, right?
Yep,
So
same here.
I probably wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for the business.
But yeah, I saw a comment come through saying about, do I know Eastbound and Down? Yes, I do. Jerry Reed. It's in part of my playlist. It's one of those things that kind of gets my blood going, just to get more on down the road. But yeah, it's part of my playlist. Absolutely.
I don't know what that is. I haven't watched
It's a
it.
song. It's Eastbound and Down, rolled up and trucking.
Oh,
Yes.
I know that song. Yeah. I thought they were talking about a TV show. And Peter's here. Hi, Peter. Thanks for tuning in. This is Papa Carnivore. I would think that most long haul truckers would love meat and eggs. You would think.
Yeah, you would think
But
that.
also, let's take a look at the type of foods that are in the stops. Tell us about that. What type of foods do you encounter in some of the rest areas, like the truck stops and the? Is it good
Well,
food? Would you say, or
it's basically pretty much your supermarket. There's a lot of bad and very little good when it comes right down to it. A lot of it's convenience foods, built up by, corporations that want to just make money off of things. I can understand that, of course, but it's not good for our health. But the only thing that might be healthy in keto or carnivore is the roller dogs, you see on
yeah,
the grills. That those are fine. I'll eat those in a pinch if I want to, but I kind of get a little upset tummy with them, kind of make me bloat up a little bit. So there's something about them, may not like it too much, but other than that, I see strawberries, there's bananas. Bananas and not, that's kind of a high carbohydrate fruit, but your strawberries, and that's all that really comes to mind really. Because I've had strawberries or
mhm,
they have cantaloupe and something else in it in a little cup, but that's basically it. There's really nothing else that's healthy. I have beef. Well, we got beef jerky, of course. I'll eat that. Like if I feel a little snacky, I'll have some beef jerky on the road. Um, but other than that, I just stick to my what I have on the truck, and I need to supplement if I can. I'll just get hamburger patties, or in the morning, Hardee's. They have good deals of where you can get everything off of a la carte menu, and you can get eggs dirt cheap. Compared to
wow,
most restaurants, you can go out there with about 5 eggs and about 3 servings of bacon and 3 servings of sausage, and be like a $10 meal, and that's actually fairly cheap compared to some other a la carte menus. You're looking at over $20 for all that. So that's my
yeah.
go-to in the morning if I'm out of breakfast food and I'm out longer than I planned for. Yeah, westbound and down. Okay, westbound.
I saw
I thought it
that.
was eastbound and down.
I got to give a shout out to Aaron here, the Carnivore guy. Aaron, we had to meet up in basically greater Indianapolis area, right? Avon, Indiana. We went to the Buffalo Wild Wings and a ton of people drove from all over. Aaron drove from Buffalo, New York to Indianapolis. He left at 2 in the morning on Saturday, got there for the meetup at noon, stayed for like the whole thing, and then left and then drove back to Buffalo and somewhere in Ohio. I'm not exactly sure where. He got rear-ended by somebody and that person hit and run him and took off. And Aaron, man, you're a rock star. This one's for you. I'm sorry that that happened. We're glad you're okay, but uh yeah, he's like 100% no regrets, not even with the arse that rear-ended me and ran me off. Oh my gosh. But that's amazing that you drove so far. And Kelly came from Missouri. Um,
Wow.
then there was a lady that showed up. You were still there when Sandy, I think her name was.
Yeah.
There, this is incredible. Dustin talked about this on his live this morning. There was this woman who showed up. We were done. We were just standing outside, just continuing on like we always do with these things because nobody ever wants to leave, right? But this wonderful lady named Sandy showed up, and we're like, "How did you find out about this?" She was late, and she's like, "I just Googled low carb events near me, and this came up." And she just showed up. She was from the Indy area. It was so like what Dustin said, there's a need, right? There's a need for these kind of things, for people to connect with each other. And oh, Papa's saying hi to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
reading the comments as you're talking.
as I scroll across, yeah,
Yes,
because I'm doing a terrible job because there's like 50 people watching. And if you have not subscribed to his YouTube channel, I posted it. And then Evelyn's saying, way to go on the A1C, John.
thank you.
She's giving
It
you some kudos on that.
it's definitely hard work, because of the food noise out there is very real because you got all these road signs and eat this and all these delicious things going down the road. And then when you're eating a proper human diet, you're able to really tune that stuff out because you're so satiated you really don't want to eat much more. So I
I
also
know.
seen a question come through.
I know. It's
Do I
great.
fear?
It's the best diet.
Yeah, it is. I do I fear autonomous trucks? Not exactly, because I'm 22 years in, and if it does come within my time of being a truck driver, then I will just kind of get used to it. But do I fear it's going to take over me? Well, if it does, God will have a plan for me already, set in motion before I even know about it. So I really don't worry about it too much.
Oh, yeah. This brings up a good point. Are you a Teamster? Are you in the Teamsters Union?
I was at one time, through a company name called Quality Carriers. I was a member at that time. I was there for about a little more than a year. But when, another job opportunity came through, then I wasn't a member no more. So yeah, I did it for about a year. The benefits were really great, really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Sandy, is Carnivore Talk on tonight? I thought he's on tomorrow. Isn't it Monday?
sing
Yeah,
smoking in
Jerry's
the
confused
band.
too. Yes. Uh, and Ivy says my son co-op owns a trucking company and a security company. They're owned and ran by the employees.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
That's very awesome.
Looking for more questions. Oh yeah, here's John's YouTube. So please, everybody, tonight go sub to him so he can start live streaming and doing things like this. Yes, I
Hmm.
posted his channel. Here it
Yeah,
is.
and I'm definitely a talker.
Subbed,
Yeah, and I think
subbed.
thank you so much, people. It means the world to me, going on there and just subbing, even though it's just a click, but it means so much, to get the word out and get the movement going and let people know about the power of a proper human diet. I'm definitely pioneering that. So absolutely. Thank you. It'll help get the word out. Of course, I'm going to have to
Yes.
get some water or something like that. My voice is starting to crack like I'm 14 years old again.
Are you okay? We'll probably
No, I'm
I
fine,
usually like to go till about 8:30.
Oh, I'm
8:30.
good.
Grandma
Well,
comes on. Lance
I'm
is
good.
here. Hi, Lance. Carnivore Lance is here. I like watching. Yes, we'll watch your live later. We need to get your son hooked up with Rick Charger Mopar. Okay, so Rick's
Mm.
a kind of a car junkie. Is probably why she said that.
My son, he'll take Haynes repair manual and read them. He is phenomenal. I've never seen anyone be that dedicated. He just wants to learn so much about it. He's a nerd's nerd when it comes down to cars. He just knows the history. He loves the older cars and stuff. It's awesome to see him just kind of go into his own way, and just I love it. Being part of parent, I don't know if anyone's really said anything about my exercise equipment. Yes, I do use that elliptical right
Oh,
there. Yes,
yeah.
I do use that thing. I love that thing. I bought that used for about $1,400 in Dayton, Ohio. There's a guy that sells used gym equipment there, and it's an Octane Fitness one, the one you see in the gyms, and those are brand new, are like $10,000. So yeah, I love that thing. I use it about every day, and I'll use my arms on it too, doing this, get my arm strength. It's helping. I love it.
Lance has a good idea. Don't just sub, go to his latest video, hit the like button, leave a comment. This really helps out. And actually watch his
It is.
videos, right?
Yeah,
And then I'm gonna give him the copy of this. And so if you like this, go back and rewatch the replay again, right? Three
absolutely.
more Bill Cook, 3 more. Ricky from who was at the meetup yesterday just subbed.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, Aaron.
The
Aaron
love is
says it
I'm
was.
feeling it. I'm
Yeah.
feeling the love. Thank you. I'm
Let's see. I'm
definitely, it's
looking
great
for
meeting
more.
everyone too. I'm a hoot in person too. I'm all over the place and I'll make some sort of crack some sort of joke and everything. I've got a pretty much a Rolodex of all kinds of things to say, and more appropriate or inappropriate times. I go either way with it. So I'm just a little crazy.
Okay. I got something here. Wait till you hear this. You're not gonna believe this. Hold on. I gotta do something for you. Let me find the right one. You hit 50 subs, John. You
Yes.
just you hit 54 subs. So you are now able to go live with YouTube. Yes. John is at like 54. I just looked.
Thank
54
you.
subs, 77 videos. Thank you all for pushing him over 50. This is excited. Schmooby has a question about Gary. Gary's our friend in the community. Has anyone heard from Gary Noslow? I have not. I do have his email though, so I can send him an email. 15 and 30. What? I don't know what this is. 15 and 30.
Probably the PhD community, they're if it comes back down to that. That's what reminds me of that.
Yeah, and I think we already answered this. It's
Yeah.
westbound and down. Yes.
Not so, eastbound and down, but not westbound down. I never heard of that one. I just, the more popular one by Jerry Reed. I don't know if he did the other one or not, but yeah, I'll have to look it up and see
Oh,
what it's about.
yep, you already answered this one about the driverless trucks.
Yeah, not
Uh,
necessarily. I'm not worried about it.
John, Carnivore TJ Alfred is in the house. Welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Aaron's accident was right by the border of Indiana and Ohio.
Yeah, right on
I'm
I-70.
assuming it was more. Yeah, I think that's, yeah. You were
Yeah,
right about that,
I-70.
John. It was north.
Yeah, well, it would make sense to take I-70 out of Indianapolis to go through Columbus and then hit 71 and go through Cleveland and all that to get up to Buffalo. I go to Buffalo enough to pick up wheels. So, yeah, I know the drive very well.
Oh, here's a good one. And hi, Midnight Vince. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad you're here. Aaron asked, what was the hardest thing to learn when you started to drive?
Almost everyone's, hardest thing to learn how to drive was downshifting. I could have tore apart a transmission or left it one on the interstate, trying to get into the right gear. So you find it or, grind it and you find it. So yeah, I've tore, feel like I've tore enough of my transmissions in my time, but now I'm pretty professional at it and I'm still driving a 10 speed. So, and I enjoy it. I would rather have that than an automatic because I feel like I drive a truck when I'm driving a standard shift or a manual shift for people that don't know what standard is. You know,
Mhm.
together
So
strong.
Juju's, yeah, there's another John in the community. Well, there's probably 500 carnivore Johns, but there's
Yeah.
another one. His name is John Together Strong. I guess he's a truck driver as well. I didn't know that John was a truck driver. I thought he was in IT software like me, but because he's really smart with technology. And that's the other thing, guys. I need to showcase his website. He has built a website. Let me just find this real quick. So for all of us, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Let me find Together Strong. Oh shoot. He's okay. So John Together Strong has built us a website. It's good. It's like a TV guide for all of us carnivore keto people with our favorite channels because I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but things aren't getting pushed out, right?
Hmm.
Especially in our space. Let me find this. Here we go. I'm going to open this. This is really cool. let me share this. It is johntogetherstrong.com. Yeah, do this one. By Eagle Project Productions. So basically, if you are a creator, you can go and hook in your YouTube channel, and then the guide, it's going to display everything. Let me figure out. There's a display here. I must have changed it. Grid. So it's like a TV guide. And when you like put your thing in there, it displays, and mine's already passed, but it's right over here. It takes you right into that live stream, right? So it shows you all of the lives coming up in the future. So it's like a TV guide. He developed this whole thing, and it's free. There's not a cost to it, right? I
Huh.
think he's also put some AI stuff in here. So creators can come in here, connect your stuff. There's something for viewers. It's really cool. Join as a viewer. Find a show, get reminded. So you can get reminders through here. Back porch, I think, is where we can chat with each other. He even has his own AI. We can make community posts. He's eventually going to have an app for the iPhone. So this is really cool. So if you want to know who is like going live, this is going to be the place to connect your channel for like a TV guide for all of our channels, right? Just really
Very
cool.
cool.
Anyway,
Very cool.
little sidebar there.
One thing I never mentioned, is, if it's relevant or not, but, it may be relevant to some people, but, weight is literally just a number for me, just to kind of go by, but I don't let it rule me or judge me or, make fun of me like it sometimes does. But yeah, I started at my heaviest at 333 pounds, and lately I'm getting back more in the 270s. So it's a very nice weight loss I've experienced with this too. It's a nice side effect, as I, put it. But my metabolic health, my energy and sleep, and that's way better than any metric that I could measure with any kind of modern technology or even older technology, because scales have been around for a while. But yeah, I try not to focus on that number. I just weigh myself when I don't know, when I feel like I want to, every month or two. So it's not too much of a metric, but it does work
Mm-hmm.
as a nice little side effect.
And yeah, and John also mentions there's another trucker, Brandon Fowler. Do you know who he is? He's on Instagram and Facebook, but he's also a trucker.
I think I've seen him come up on my feed before. That name sounds very familiar. Yes. Jerome Patton, he's a fitness coach for truck drivers. He's getting a bit popular too, and he does talk about the low carb too, but he mostly talks to explains to drivers how to work out and keep moving and stuff, by walking or lifting weights and what they can do with limited space. I thought about doing videos like that too. So, yep. Those
Yeah,
get
Kelly
there.
says Westbound and Down song was played when Burt Reynolds and Jerry Reed was heading to go get the beer. Huh.
That's probably in the movie, which I've yet to see, which is very odd. I'm probably one of the more odder truck drivers, pretty much known. I've never smoked, never, never drank, coffee a whole lot. I used to be on 5-hour energy there for a while, but now I'm on exogenous ketones to replace the 5-hour energy. So
Uh-huh.
I'm more getting rid of the artificial sweeteners. But yeah, that has worked very well.
And I think Aaron's offering to buy you dinner if you're ever up in Buffalo. But do you go into that area ever? Buffalo, New York? Are you ever up there?
Sometimes, it could be possible to get another wheel pickup. I stay at this Indian reservation. I think it's Seneca, or right around in that area. It's like an Indian reservation truck stop that I'll stay at there. But I can stay a little closer to Buffalo, and yeah, we can meet up. Absolutely. Just send me a message. That way I know who you are, either on my Facebook or YouTube. Just send me a message like, oh, it's the guy from Buffalo. I'll take you out to eat when you're up there. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And I'll pay for my meal. You don't have to, if you want to, it's up to you. I don't make no one do anything for me. But yeah, absolutely. I'll love to have some food with you. Absolutely.
And Jonathan Carnivore Muscle Pro is in the house watching from England. Hi,
Hello.
Jonathan. Thanks for tuning in. And I guess you're right, Juju. I do remember that John was a truck driver most of his life. He's just really smart with IT stuff, right? So I think that's why I just figured that. Yeah.
I know enough to get
So
by with IT.
we're
That's about it.
yeah, we're fighting a uphill battle talking about ketovore, carnivore, ketogenic way of eating, low carb health, because you guys all know how I feel about YouTube, which is probably why my channel is very slow growing, because I talk bad about it all the time. So they probably flagged me as do not push her. And speak of the devil, Charger Mopar Rick. They're saying you need to hook your son up to watch his channel. His channel name is Charger Mopar. So if you just type in Rick Charger Mopar, he's a 41-year carnivore. He's been on the carnivore diet since age 15, and he's like 56 or something like that.
Yeah. And
Very interesting.
I saw a question come through. What do I haul the most of? The current company that I'm at, we haul scrap metal. So when I do go to Buffalo, I'll pick up scrap wheels and they'll melt them down and turn them, to usable, I guess, product, to where they can sell it to other companies and they'll melt it down to auto parts. That's, my part in it. So yeah, it's just scrap metal. Nothing too fancy.
Rick, you look like you're in your 30s because you've been carnivore for 41 years, right? But he says my channel will scare people, probably because he catches iguanas. He's on a very limited budget and he catches basically his own food. So, but it's very interesting, and he fixes a lot of things. He's very mechanically inclined. Yes. Aaron
I'm
says
not too
my
sure if my,
offer.
go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just,
Oh,
thinking out loud about taking this, indoors and just saying, I'll let everyone say hi to my family, and then, probably it's like past 8:30. Say you'd like to take them till 8:30, and that's
yes.
fine. I could go a little further. I don't need to go to bed till probably like another hour, um, but yeah, before we shut this down, go inside
You
and
want
have
us?
everyone
You
say
want
hi.
you? Do your family want to be on camera? Are they okay with that? I mean, this is to
Some
the
maybe.
world.
This is to the world. I know a couple of them will really like it, and then one may not, which would be my wife.
Uh,
But
if you want to do that, let's do that.
yeah, family's a big part of my life, so big part of who I am. Yeah, American flag, with the gym equipment.
We have that in our garage too, the American flag.
I got my van in here fixing up. It blew a brake line, so that's a lot of fun. Oh, it looks like it rained while I was out here.
Oh, your garage is separate from your house.
Yeah, it is. Yep, I've always
That's a
wanted
big
that. And
garage.
yeah, this is my grandpa's place that he ended up. Well,
That's
he
cool.
passed away back in 2017, and I ended up living in since for about 4 years now.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, let's see what the chaos is brewing on the inside.
Oh, because there's a lot of littles.
Is there a way for me to turn it around, or I have to turn? You want to
There
say hi
might be
to
a,
everybody?
yeah, probably not. You probably just have to.
There we go.
Hi,
This is Grace.
everybody.
This is Gracie, my middle
Nice to
child,
meet you.
cousin, cousin Lily. and cousin Caroline,
Hi,
and the
everybody.
son from the meetup. And
Hey,
then the
remember
daughter.
me?
Yeah, the daughter is awake.
The daughter's awake.
Yeah,
Should we disturb her?
or disturb her.
Oh, okay.
This is awesome. That's awesome. Is that the Mrs.
Yeah,
Heather?
she's baking stuff that I probably won't eat. She takes it to her office. She bakes. If she gets a bacon itch and wants to bake a bunch of cookies, and she'll take it to her office. So, or my work, the other drivers will devour them. Oh, there's the oldest, the college person, the
Hi.
smart one.
Smart.
You're not that smart.
You're smart.
I think you are.
Is she in college? Where do you go to school? Somewhere in Indiana?
Well, she's going. That'll be her first year. She's going to St. Francis in Fort Wayne.
Awesome. I know where that is. Yes, I'm up in South Bend, Mishawaka area. So I'm a little farther north than you all, but it's nice to
Mm-hmm.
meet you and good luck with your studies.
You want to say hi, babe? Oh, she will say hi.
Hi. How are you? You've been listening the whole time, right? I know you have been.
No,
No, she's been baking cookies. She's going to take them to her work.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good to see you
So
again.
that
We'll meet in person someday, I know.
we're streaming in front of 60 people. Oh, chocolate chip toffee. Oof, that's paraphernalia, as I put it.
Yes. Yes. Well,
Oh,
guys, it's
cats.
been an hour and a half. Did you have any final thoughts, John, about, just advice to people who are getting started or struggling? What's your message? Tell everybody your message.
My message is that if you're even just somewhat curious about this, why not just give it a shot, give it a try, see what it does for you, see what the fuss is all about, and get it into, well, just start doing it, get into your body, and beef, butter, bacon, eggs, or however you want to do it. Eat some veg, however you want to do it. But
Hmm.
it's all good, whatever is going to come out of it. So my message is, it's just plain and simple. Keep it simple. I'm going to go back outside.
Okay.
It, it's a little more quieter outside. Well, not that I can also concentrate a little bit more for the message and the
Yes.
final thoughts. But yeah, absolutely, just give it a shot. You never really know what you're going to experience until you really try it and see what starts happening. Most generally, what people do notice is that their joint pain and all that other stuff starts going away. I used to have horrible sciatic pain. There would be times where I wouldn't be able to even put on my pants in the morning. I couldn't lift my feet up 3 inches off the ground without it even hurting so much. But yeah, just give it a shot and see what it does for you. And just keep going. It'll just make you feel better.
That's awesome. And I want to thank you for coming on tonight. And we're going to do more of these in the future. I know it.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
want to
This was
thank
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for subscribing over to John's channel and pushing him over the 50. Uh, and everybody who's tuned in, we had over 50 people tuning in at some point, which is really awesome.
Very
John,
good.
everybody
Yes.
knows you now. Everybody knows you now. So we're going to be expecting content from you. So keep that
Yep.
going. We'll do
Yep.
more
I'll
collaborations.
yep. Absolutely. This was fun. This is my first live, and been pretty geeked about it. Now I even more geeked to just get more content out there and just keep on creating and helping people and spread the message of a proper human diet. You just don't know what it's really going to do to you. It'll work you. So that's definitely the message.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, with that, I think we're gonna end the stream. Everybody knows the drill. I have ending credits that shows everybody who tuned in. And I will provide you with a copy of this. It'll probably take 24 hours to render it, but I will send you an email with where you can download it. And thank you
Okay.
so much. And I'm so excited I got to meet you yesterday, and we'll do it again in the future, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you, Amy.
All right, bye, John.
Thank you for doing this.
Yes, we'll do it again and have a great night.
Yep.
Have a great night, everybody. All right. Say goodbye to John. Here we go. Are we ready for the credits? Here we go, guys.
Oh, yeah. Lights fade low, the bacon's done. We rocked the stream and had some fun. Keto rock stars in the rockin' crew. Stay strong. We're gonna roll with you. Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling on. We're gonna keep rolling on. Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling on. Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling on. Rockin' till the credits roll.